All right, the amp rack is done. Made my door. I used the same glass from the last door and just put it on. And then I had the space down below on the door from the last glass because I had the subwoofer in the door firing through. So because I have that gap, I just put a little small acoustic treatment down there, but it's really cool. You guys probably can't tell that there's glass right here, which is the entire idea. So there's a little bit, a couple tricks up my sleeve with this door. So at the top, you guys will see that I have my exhaust fan here. So if you're wondering how I'm getting the heat out, that is the primary way. So this exhaust fan is from Aircom Infinity. I have a lot of their fans in my home, and that takes the air out and spits it into the room. So obviously heat rises. So as the heat rises, it gets into that fan and then it brings it into the room, which kind of helps the room stay cooler. But that's what that fan is for. And I like having the door closed because my amplifiers that fire up the subwoofers can get loud when things get loud. The fans in there are pretty loud. So having the door closed behind glass with the acoustic treatment kind of keeping the sound out, or I guess in, is really nice. So let me open this door actually, let me show you before I open the door. I do have lights in here. Alexa, turn on amp rack lights. So there are lights in here as well, because I do like to showcase my gear. I know you guys mentioned, oh, don't have lights on or don't put the amp rack here because it's going to distract you when you're sitting down. I had the same setup in the old home theater, and it was behind the seats. It didn't distract me there. It's on the side, so it's more in your peripherals just about. So I have watched a couple things in here, and it really doesn't bother me. But if it does, I can turn off not only the amp rack lights as you saw, but I can turn off all the lights on the amplifier. So that amplifier down there, I can turn that LED screen off. I can turn those screens off. I can turn the Anthem screen off. So I can make it dark if it bothers me. I'll turn off the lights so you guys can see it at night. Alexa, turn off home theater lights. Oh, she missed it. She didn't hear me. Alexa, turn off home theater lights.
Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't find a group.
of course you didn't. Let's just push the button then. So this is with the lights off. And that's kind of what it looks like at night. So it has a really cool glow. So I really appreciate it. I really like it. It's really, really cool. Now, there's a few more sleeves to unfold here for you guys. A few more tricks under the sleeves. Let me open the door. So here are my gear. This is the Anthem AVM 70. This is my Sendavo power conditioner. These are all the amps that are powering the subs. This one's currently not in use because I'm using 3 subs right now, not 4. I have my Blu-ray player, Panasonic UB820. Behind it is another Aircom Infinity that does the same thing, takes the heat out and shoots it upwards. And then that is my OC Nero X Max 11 powering the entire system. To my left is the mini DSP right there. I use a Fire TV Cube in here, and then this is the hub for my universal remote from Sofa Baton. And then my giant stack of movies are down there. We'll clean up the wires a little bit later. Some of these wires go to the mini DSP. This is how I connect it to the computer, and then I have an HDMI cord that's connected to the Anthem so that I can use the mini DSP or do Room EQ Wizard or whatever. Now, what you guys don't know, if I ever do get distracted with the lights, I did put a curtain in here. So if I ever need to, I can just pull this curtain all the way across and then close the door, and that'll keep all the lights out of my eyes. For example, this light can't be turned off. If I had the Blu-ray player, that light comes on, and these LEDs right here, they'll turn blue when they're on. Those lights will stay on too. So what I can do is just pull the curtain closed and then close the door, and that way I'll help keep not only the sound out, but the light away from the theater as well. So the amp rack is looking good. The very last thing that I did, if you guys remember way back in the last few videos, I have my wires running to the amplifier in my what do you call those things, XLR cables. They run down the back to the amplifier. So 11 speaker wire and 11 XLR cables run down. You guys can kind of see them through there, but right here was really obvious. So I took a piece of wood and I cut it out about the width of the X Max 11 to hide all the wires that were just hanging here. It was atrocious. It made it look really ugly. So now when I close the door, all those wires are kind of concealed. So really that's all on display. Only thing that's on display are my amps, my amplifiers, and my AVM 70. So it's a really cool look. So this is kind of what the theater is looking like. I've done a little bit of calibration. I've done a little bit of sub work, not a lot of calibration yet, but this is how the room's probably going to stay at the moment. Right now, I'm contemplating not having a center channel since it is so low, but I really hate the way that it sounds right now. So I'm kind of battling that, but this is the final fit of where the subs are going to be. They're turned sideways, and then the Arendal 1528 Monitor 8 are on top of them. I like the look, and I like the seamless sound. The bass and all the other sounds come from the same place. It is a really good sound to hear so far. I do need some more acoustic treatment because there's just simply way more wall space in this room than the last theater. So I'm getting a lot more reflection than I did. So I really got to clean that up. As far as Atmos goes, you guys may have watched the video of me doing the bookshelf speakers in the ceiling. I got those up. They look great. They kind of disappear. You really don't see them, especially because of the bass clouds. And I put the wire hiders up there too, and they're painted to match the ceiling. So I gotta paint a second coat because you can kind of see some white on them, but all the way around, they have been painted to kind of hide them. They really do hide in person. So when you walk into there, you really don't notice the speakers hanging up, and you really don't notice the wire tracks, which is obviously the idea. And they go down the wall, which I painted that wall track the same color as the wall. And then of course the saxophone is there. So the home theater is really coming along very quickly. What I want to do next, I'm getting some more seats in here. So we're going to at least have one row of 3, then either have another row of 2 or do a bar behind the row of 3. So that's kind of the next big thing. You guys may have saw my video unboxing and reviewing the 132-inch lenticular ALR screen from Nothing Projector. That's now part of my home theater. This screen is amazing. It's 30 inches bigger than the last screen that I had. So huge difference there. I did put a rope light around it that I'm currently working on, making sure it's even on all spots so that the light's evenly distributed. But there's a rope light around it on the top there that I can control each segment. So I can make this segment green, that segment blue, that I can kind of really change the rope. Anyway, I like that. Same thing with the closet. I can do the same thing. And then down here are some like little stand lights, whatever. I have them on the same color as the screen to kind of fill in. So if I turn off the light, this is kind of what the room looks like in the dark, which is really nice glow right before the movie. What's really cool is if I turn the home theater lights to purple as well. Watch this. Let me see if I can get this to work. So here they are. They're turned on. Alexa, turn home theater light to purple. She doesn't want to do it today. Doesn't want to do it. Let's see if I can get the remote. Maybe. Here's green, blue. That's pinkish. Red. I guess I'll leave it here. The app, I was working with the app. The app kind of messed up a little bit today, so I got to fix that because I reset my Wi-Fi. But that's kind of the vibe you can get in the room. I can change any of these colors to be all the same, or I can change them to be individually colored, whatever I want to do. So it's a really cool vibe. If I want to show off the theater, I can put it into a certain mode. And then when it's time to watch a movie, I can tell Alexa to turn all lights off, and then everything turns off. I'll do that to end the video. Alexa, turn all lights off. There you go. Every light goes off. There's the screen. Boom. Every light is turned off now. So now I can watch a movie, get it fired up, enjoy myself, and then I can have her turn on the lights again when it's time to leave. So that's the room in a nutshell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, I'll do the full home theater reveal at 40K. I'm probably not going to make many more videos about my room until I hit 40K subscribers. That's going to be the big reveal. So if you're not subscribed, make sure that you get subscribed so that you guys can see what I plan to do at the end. I have a lot more in store for this room because I want it to be well above average. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you are not already, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep this guy out. Peace.